A shorter time frame formation could have been the validator for the upside we saw today. The magic to the trick is that we caught it before the upside happened. Let's give this ticker a slightly different outlook, that of which we're used to, and try to gain an edge over tomorrow's session. Welcome back to the channel on this Taco Tuesday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into ticker symbol FNGR. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. Let's go ahead and pull up the chart here for ticker symbol FNGR. And this is a different outlook, okay? So what I'm going to do here is present to you the way we actually look at this in the live situation. And the reason why I'm doing this too, right, is because I'm running short on time. And the reason why is because, you know, I've been actually dealing with some enormous amount of technical problems here, right? Not with the new computer build, specifically with the desk, right? I noticed today that the issues that we had during the live stream happened because one of my main power grids went out entirely. So you're hearing me actually back on the big boy mic, and you're hearing me through the tube preamp right now. So that is actually a very good lifesaver for us, right? So we still have the quality gear coming in. It just so happens that one of the main power grids actually went out entirely, and that is what created the stream to stop this morning. But just rest assured that the new computer build is still rocking and looking very good. All right, team. So now, yes, let's go ahead and do this. And as you can see, I don't have my thesis up like normal, right? Because this is a whole fresh install of Windows because of the new build. Anyway, so this is the formation that we noticed today during the live stream, and this is a 3-hour descending channel. Now, this is a bullish formation. So when I spoke about it during the live, I actually said just this. Okay, well, I was talking to Sebastian Lim, right? And I told him, well, dude, I actually do think that this is it right here. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like these are the correct contact points. And if this is the formation itself, then right away, right in here, these 3 candles, 1, 2, and 3, would be test number 1 right off the bat. And we actually have test number 2 and test number 3. Or actually, you know what? We can do this like this. Let's just go ahead and consider that a test number 2, right? This would be our test number 2, right? These 2 candles here. And now following this test, which would be the test number 3, it's actually located. I'm sorry, I meant to keep it there. It's located right here. Right, so let's go ahead and make a little arrow there so that we can keep that in mind. And this one right there, right? So that's test number 3, and usually what happens after test number 3 is a capitulation event, right? And then we got the biggest downside here from the tests. So now we started a consolidation phase. Wow, we started a consolidation phase here, and now we're continuing to the upside. Well, there is a price objective from this formation itself, right? So the way we acquire that is by taking a trend line from the top side of the formation to the very bottom trend line here, and then we can apply this to the breakout candle, which would be this red one here. It's actually a clean break outside of the resistance level. It's not touching the support, and it's actually right outside of the break zone, right? So let's just go ahead and apply this trend line there, and now we're actually taken to a target of about, let's just go ahead and highlight it like this. It'll tell us for itself. $5.91 looks like it could be that top side. And please notice here, the tweezer top that we actually noticed here, or that we went through, let's go ahead and highlight those and see what the top side is. Well, what do you know? $5.89 located on the H value of the OHLC, open, high, low, close, and those values up there, right? And $5.89, right? So yeah, this is actually taking us to a very confluent target. And it does appear that price action may be considering that direction in the shorter term time frame as well. So there is a way for us to evaluate that and see if there's any potentials here. First of all, I want to go ahead and see if I have any of the important pairs here. Yes, I do actually. That's the EMA. Okay, yeah. This is the EMA 21 and this is the EMA 55, right? You can see here that now the EMA 21 is pivoted towards the upside, and price action has essentially validated it as a support, and now we're continuing on to that upside. We have been clearly beneath that EMA 21 for quite some time now, a few days now, and we've been resisting from it until now. We just broke upside of it, and now we're using it as a support. So for a continuation to that upside, I do expect there to be a potential pullback from $5.48, if not a little earlier or sooner, right? So let's just see if we have any moving averages there that are potentially showing us any type of risk. In fact, nah, we don't really have anything there. Well, maybe this, right? So this is the 3-hour Bollinger Bands, and we're already extended at the very top side of the bands, right? So at any moment, this could actually face a potential short-term pullback, right? Maybe back down to the area of around 515, maybe even wick down to that area of 510 as a test for the newly converted resistance into support of this channel before a continuation onto the upside. That is not a guarantee. There's no way that I can tell you that that's going to happen or not. I am not a fortune teller, right? But if we're playing this by the traditional rules, sometimes we do have to, sometimes we do come back and validate that support before a continuation to the upside. So now let's go ahead and just block the visibility here from the reversion variant and from the moving averages and see what we have as far as the momentum versus volatility are concerned, right? So right away, actually, you know what? Let's just start it off from the 30-minute time frame and see what we have. Okay, so 30-minute is actually suggesting a slight pullback here, but I do have to say that the RSI is not suggesting that pullback whatsoever, and in fact, the MACD is printing a darker green bar with an upside pivot. And also notice that the RSI here is outside of the gravitational zones, right? These are the gravitational zones, right? These areas here. So you can see here that we actually came back down. We used the gravitational zone as a bounce to the upside because it can be used as a support, right? And then we push to the upside. In this case here, we use the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile right in here, right? We use that gravitational zone as alongside the SMA 14 with a bounce to the upside. So yeah, it is very it's very evident that we do use those gravitational zones as pivot points or supports or resistances. So notice here that the price action, or not the price action, the RSI signal itself, right, represented by this teal line, is clearly in the center of the bull strength percentile, aka the bullish control zone overall, the top half of the RSI, right? This half, right? So yeah, that's suggesting still an upside here in the immediate short term. So that kind of makes me feel that like the 30-minute time frame pullback may not actually exist. Let's see, oh man, and yeah, the 15-minute time frame is in the gravitational zone here, ready for a pull to the upside even still, and it looks like the stochastic momentum is correcting now towards that upside. Let's see the 10-minute. 10-minute is already corrective towards that upside, and notice that the RSI signal is entering the gravitational zone there. Let's see the 5-minute time frame. 5-minute time frame as well. It's really close to that. It's about to enter that gravitational zone. Notice here that we're getting a crossover in the immediate short term with a little tiny green bar right down there, and we're expanding volatility. So yeah, if there is going to be a pullback, it may just be tiny. We would just have to observe price action and see where we can get any relevant pullbacks, right, for a potential reloading zone. In this case, I do suspect that we could face resistance from this zone here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it in right now. 535, I'd say to the better part of about $5.44 with a higher likelihood landing at 541. So I'm just going to go ahead and favor 541 here as a potential pullback area, right? So then if we do get this pullback here, it's not to say that we are going to go all the way back down to 510, but that potential is still there. We must not ignore that possibility. Okay, so if we do get that pullback, it would just be expected. It would be expected from historical resistance, and this would be one of the higher likelihoods here, right? So now let's go ahead and just take a look at the 4-hour time frame. And please notice here that we're expanding in volatility. We have a very nice and very healthy pivot towards the upside on stochastic momentum. Notice on the notice on the SMI versus MFI, which is stochastics versus money flow index, particularly the histogram in the background. Notice how we're actually gaining cash positive right now, right? So that's actually cash diving in to the asset, and there's actually long bias favoring the direction right now. So it's looking very, very good. Also, the 4-hour time frame MACD, very convincing upside pivot with increasing bull pressure, right? So this is looking very, very good. Let's look at the 8-hour time frame and see what's going on, right? So yeah, notice here the 8-hour time frame as well. We're outside of the gravitational zone here, so this doesn't have a risk. There's no risk presented here. In fact, we're getting closer to the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, which would essentially pull us to the upside. Upside pivot on stochastics, and we're about to start expanding here from a critical zone. So 12-hour time frame, upside pivot on stochastics. We're expanding from the critical zone, upside pivot on the RSI, diminishing bear pressure on the MACD, and we're about to get a crossover. And look at this, 2 bars of cash flow positive right now. So we're definitely looking very good for the short term into the medium term time frames as well. This is the daily time frame. And it's a very healthy little oval here between the volatility versus momentum, right? So this is highly corrective. This is about to shift to the upside, and it's mathematically programmed to do that, right? So diminishing bear pressure right over here and upside pivot on the RSI. This resistance that you're noticing right up here, this SMA 4, let me just make this a little larger here, right? And just so that we can focus in on it. Okay, just like this. So you have your RSI signal here. You know what? I can move this too, just so that we know where we are. Right, it's important for us to know these. I actually like that I have this here, right? Because it makes it a lot easier for me to show you what I mean and what I'm talking about, right? Instead of just speaking all kinds of zones and gravitations and all this stuff, man, half the things that you don't understand, right? So it helps with visibility and context, right? So in this case, yeah, please notice that the daily time frame is about to reach the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile, and this is highly likely to get pushed to the upside. Upon doing so, the SMA 14 will likely retrace and start showing itself within this gravitational zone here, right? So if that's the case, we actually may get just a very slight pullback here, which would be the target that we're already talking about right up here, right at 535 to 541. Price action is currently sitting at 529, and it's still suggesting an upside continuation. Notice here that the 523 was the traditional hours, right? So we're already at 529, right? So in the post market. So it's looking very, very good. So I suspect that this resistance here at the SMA 14 of the daily time frame would be this resistance here of the 535 to 541 of the daily range. So let's go ahead and keep an eye on what's happening here, but FNGR is still looking very healthy. I do expect a continuation to the upside with some slight variance, but please notice as well, actually Josh Stick Vicious himself, he actually pointed this out earlier today. This is the final part of the analysis here. This is actually a daily bullish engulfing, looking very, very positive and suggesting a continuation to the upside. Not to mention this, right? So let's just go ahead and block the visibility here. This is yet another candle formation that could be very bullish for us. We have consistent wicks to the upside, right? So this is actually printing iterations of inverted hammers, right? And this candle here, the bi-daily candle that just closed today, would be the validator for a continuation to the upside after these prints. And guess what? It actually ended green, and it ended upside of the openings from both of these candles here. So, yep, it is looking like the upside is more evident than not. And yeah, I expect this to continue onwards and upwards. Let's observe price action. Go ahead and come by the live stream. I will be there around 6:40, 6:50 a.m. To about 10 a.m. All right, and that's hopefully we don't have any more technical issues this time around, but it's looking pretty good so far. All right, team. So yeah, I think this is I think I got everything. Let me see the notes here. Yeah. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell Mañana, team. Adios.